Hello Yarny friends, Rachel here with Yarn At Play again. I have so many things to share with you guys. I have been very busy over the past few weeks. I have been working out, knocking out some WIPS, working on some new pattern ideas, and ordered some more yarn, went to the store, bought some more yarn. Lots of stuff. So I'm going to show you all of it today. So we have a shipment that I got in of more Bravo worsted from crochet.com or Knit Picks, whichever one you prefer. They're sister companies, they're the same thing. And I have been working on my temperature blanket, which is why I needed to buy more Bravo worsted because I ran out of color, which I figured was going to happen. And I also bought some Tunisian crochet hooks and have been doing Tunisian crochet, and I have been loving it. So I'm going to show you everything that I've been working on. So since the temperature blanket was the last thing that I kind of showed you the yarn for that Bravo worsted unboxing, I will go ahead and show you how that is coming along. My pretty Yarn At Play rainbow project bag. I don't know if you can see it. If you want this bag, you can buy it at yarnatplay.com. It says, I make cute things with yarn. And then the front has the Yarn At Play logo on it. So anyways, that's what I'm keeping my project in. Oh, good. And there's another project in here that I thought that I'd misplaced. But I didn't. It was just in my project bag. You'd think that I would look there first, but no, that'd be way too easy. You know how it goes. All right, so this is the temperature blanket that I'm working on. And this is not for this year. If you did not see my other videos, this is actually a temperature blanket that represents the period that I was pregnant with my second born daughter, Wilhelmina. So it stretches from the end of March of 2016 to December of 2016, because she was born in December. And so this is how far I have gotten. I cannot see the camera to see if it's all in frame. Is it all in frame? It's mostly in frame. It's pretty much in frame. So the bottom of the blanket with the lighter colors here, that is March. And then you see this white stripe here that breaks through the first month of my pregnancy, and then there's a second month, and there's another white stripe, and there's the third month, and then there's another white stripe. So I'm working on the fourth month here. So this is July, because this is mostly April, May, June. Yeah, so this is July. I'm working through July. So the purples, the darkest purple are the hottest days. Those are the days where it was above 87 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe. And then I don't actually have any of the coldest temperature on this side of the blanket because it was not cold enough in March to hit that coldest temperature. So the coolest one that's on here right now is this mint green. So those are my colors, and I really love the way that this is working out. It is in moss stitch, and the width is here. I made it a little bit shorter than I planned. I measured it up against her comforter that's on her bed, but apparently my measuring must have been off when I did my chain and then actually stitched it up because it's a little short. So it'll like just cover the width of her bed, I think, and then just the tassels will hang over, which is fine. I'm still fine with that. The plan was for this to be a bedspread, but I'm fine with the width that it is. She'll still use it for sure. And she doesn't, this is actually perfect for her because she doesn't like blankets where the tassels are by her face. She prefers them to be on the long side of the blanket so that she doesn't have anything, you know, tickling her face while she sleeps, because she always sleeps with my blanket. She never actually sleeps with comforters. She prefers the things that I make, and I'm fine with that. So this one is going really well. So I ran out of the purples. As you can see, there's a lot of hot days, summer purpley days in there. So I had to buy some more yarn. So let me show you the yarn that I got more of, and then I bought more yarn besides because I had an idea for a new knitting machine blanket. I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll get there in a second. So let me see. I got more of the pretty purple, which this is Lady Slipper. I've shown that to you guys before. I got more of the pink. This is Blush. Shown that to you guys before. I got more Seashell. Shown that one to you guys before. And I got more, what is this, cotton candy. That one's in the blanket. And Freesia, that's my dark purple. That one's obviously in the blanket. And then, oh, I got 2 skeins of this blush. And then Custard, which is also in the blanket. I should not need to buy, at least I don't think so. I don't think that I should have to buy any more yarn for that blanket. I think that based on my plotting out, and because I went to a Bob site, I looked up all the temperatures for that date range, those 9 months. I plotted it all out. Here, I'll show you. I have my handy dandy notebook here. I plotted it all out. So the X's are the rows that I've already done. And then this is the date. So this is, you can see it starts, you know, the very end of March into April. And then that second number is the date. The first number is the date. The second number was the temperature on that day, the high temperature. And then the letter is the color code that I've given to the colors for that temperature range. So I don't have to look up every row what yarn I need to use. I just look at the chart and I say, okay, here, right here I did. I'm on I, then I got a J, 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 which that's my dark purple. So light purple, dark, 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 light, light. And then H, I believe, is orange, that seashell color. So a couple orange, light purple, and it just goes down. Sorry, all of that was not on camera. I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to read my notebook. So anyways, that is how I plot out my temperature blankets. And it winds up being, this is 2 pages long of stuff for that. So lots of rows, but I know exactly how many rows I have. I think it's 92 rows, something like that. And I put down how many rows I need of each color total here. So that gives me an idea of how much yarn to buy. And I only bought 1 skein to start of each color because I just wasn't sure how far a skein would go. And so I only bought second skeins of the ones that I think that I would need, and I should be done buying yarn for that. That was a lot. So anyways, that project is going well. I'm really happy with that project. In that order, I also had an idea for a new blanket that I want to make on my small 22 needle Addy. I usually make blankets on with my 46 because they're big panels and everything like that, but I thought it might be kind of cool to do like a gradient fade blanket, all with skinny little panels of different color yarn, and just have like a big gradient fade blanket. So that was my plan. And I didn't know, I had not used Bravo worsted on my 22 needle machine before. It worked up great, by the way, but I wasn't sure how many rows I would get out of a single skein of yarn. And I figured out that out of a single skein of Bravo worsted, I can get 300 rows on my knitting machine. So I could not wait to start working on it. So I just knitted up a couple rows, 3 rows here, to see how it would go, because I was anxious to use the yarn on the machine, and it looks great. It looks really great, but I think that I'm gonna buy different yarn because I'm just not happy with my color palette. I wanted to do just a straight gradient fade across, so starting with with all warm tones, so like starting with yellowing and then fading into browns. And I should have known that I wasn't gonna be very happy with that because I don't like working with browns. Brown is just, it's a fine color, and there are some really beautiful rich browns. And I feel like the yarn colors that I got are really pretty, but I'm just not happy with them when I put them all next to each other. So I'll show you what I mean here. Here's my darkest brown, my first little knit tube. The ends are already sewn together. So this is my 300 row, which I like to do like 330 rows for a blanket, but this is still obviously plenty long for a blanket. I just like my blankets to be a little extra long so I can fit 2 people underneath them if I want to. So there's my first color brown. Here's my second color brown, and no, I don't have the exact colors of these. I'll put them in the description because I don't have the yarn wraps for these right now. So here's my second color brown. See if I can lay this out. And here was my third color. This is kind of like a rust. It's not really brown, it's more of a rust color. So that was kind of how it was going. And then I initially thought I'm gonna want red. Red in there somewhere. But when I put the gradient together with my yarn colors, I just couldn't find a good place for red. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's this one. That one, the red is just red. This one is called Paprika. And this is just orange. And then this is Seashell, which you've already seen, and Custard, which you've already seen. So, yeah, that's all of them. All right, so here, let's see if I can set this out on my couch so you can see the color. Sorry, it's a little backlit. So that was kind of what I wanted to do with my gradient fade, but I don't like, that was the initial plan based on the colors on the website, but I don't like these colors together. I don't think that it makes for a good gradient fade. This rust is a lighter tone than the red, and the undertones, it's like you go from oranges, oh wait, where's the custard? The custard needs to be up here too. Custard's up there too. So it goes from like yellows to oranges to red, and then all of a sudden back to orange again, and then into browns. And I wasn't happy with that. So I was like, well, maybe I can, you know, put this here, and that'll look a little bit better because this is more of a rusty orange. And it looks fine, but I still don't like this transition. I feel like the red was just randomly thrown in there when this, if I'm gonna do all rust colors, is a better gradient fade to me. I just like the look of that better without the red. Here, I'll show you. So there's those. And then with these kind of thrown on the end here. Can you see that? This works, right? This works, sort of. That was the plan. But again, I'm not really happy with these browns. They're pretty browns. I'm just not sure if I want a brown blanket. So, had a bit of a rethink and completely changed my idea for what I'm gonna do. So I looked at these colors together with the red, and to me, this just screams a sunset. It just does. It screams sunset to me. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to buy more yarn. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I'm always buying yarn. My husband was talking to me the other day. He's like, when is it ever going to be done? Like, when are you going to actually have the yarn that you need to do what you want? And I'm like, never. I'm sorry. Which he's very gracious with my yarn buying, but still. So this to me screams sunset, and so I want to turn it into a sunset. So the darkest, I got to figure out how to do it. I've looked at pictures of sunsets, and I really want to have it go from like the red down here being like near the waterline, and then, but then it would have to be like this, wouldn't it? Because the brightest colors are closest to the sun. Yeah, the brightest colors are closest to the sun. So I want to fade this red into like a purple and then into like a dark blue. Don't quote me on the purple. I'm just trying to figure out how to transition this red into like a night sky color. I'm looking at the colors online in this yarn. They have tons of color options, so that's not an issue. I'm just trying to figure out, based on the pictures online, what would be the best way to go about that. And now I'm going to drop all my yarn. So I'm going to make a sunset blanket, and I think it's going to be gorgeous. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be super duper simple because it's literally just single panels stitched together. There's no complicated like change your color here, like different metrics. It's just a gradient fade across on my 22 needle little skinny machine. But it's a work in progress. Clearly, I just have 3 random tubes and a bunch of skeins of yarn that I'm not exactly sure where to put and how. So anyways, we'll figure that one out. Either way, the colors are stunning, and I'm really excited to work with the colors. Okay. Next whip. Let's get into that. I saw this scarf from Tony at TL Yarn Craft. Shout out to Tony, you're amazing, love your channel. She has a scarf called the Adventurous Scarf, and I have never Tunisian crocheted before, but I followed some of her tutorials and was able to figure out how to do not just simple stitch, but simple stitch corner to corner, which is what she does for her Adventurous Scarf. And I'm just kind of winging it. I don't really follow patterns. I just sort of go, I think I know what that is. I'm going to give it a try. And it's turning out well. So this is what I have. Woo! I'm dropping it. This is my take along with me project when I go places, that I'm working on. So this is Tunisian crochet, as you can see, because I have this, the hook here, and then it's on this cord, just like it would be if it was knit, and then there's this little thing to keep it from falling off the end. But my project's not wide enough to fall off the end. And so I started with this white cream color into that, and then now we're into more of a tan with the stripe. And then the tan stripe will continue, and then I'll grab my next yarn color from my bag here. So this is my color palette for this scarf. And I laid them all out in a row to figure out exactly how I wanted the yarns to fade into one of each other. And then I used my stitch markers to mark what color goes in what order. That's how I'm keeping track of this project. So this is how far I've gotten. It is, I really love it. I love the feel of it. I love the drape of this. The yarn is from Hobby Lobby, by the way. I don't know what it's called. It's fingering weight. It comes in these tiny little skeins. You get 6 in a pack. So it was 2 packs for me to get 12 mini skeins of yarn. And that's how I'm working this project up. But I'm sorry, I'll link it in the description if you want to see exactly what it is. But I can't remember the yarn name. But it's really nice. I know that it has some natural fiber content. I think it's a natural acrylic blend. And it's super duper soft. It feels really, really nice. And it's nice and lightweight because it is fingering weight yarn. And so I think that this is going to be a fantastic... I think I'm going to be in love with this. I think this is probably going to be one of my most favorite makes that I ever do. Because if you look at pictures of Tony's Adventurous Scarf on her website, it's absolutely stunning. And so I don't doubt that I'm going to love this. However, I will say that if you want to learn how to Tunisian crochet, maybe not start with fingering weight yarn. Because that is making me a little nuts. I don't like using skinny yarns, but I was like, you know what? I want something really light and delicate that I can use, you know, more than just in like the super cold winter months. I want it to be kind of like, I wanted it to have this impression of being like this beautiful long stripe faded like pashmina almost. And so that's what I went for with fingering weight yarn. I will finish this project. It's gonna take me a long time. This is probably, I'm only into my 3rd color and I have 12 of them. And this is probably, you know, a full week's worth of work, if not more. So this project is gonna take a while. But because it's small enough, I can just wrap it up in a little bundle and throw it in my purse and take it with me everywhere. So I really love that aspect of it because I do have opportunities to knit, you know, at Bible study and things like that through the week. So that is my first Tunisian crochet project. I have many more planned, and I will tell you why. It's not that I love it more than regular crochet. I love regular crochet. I will always love regular crochet, and I'm never going to stop doing regular crochet, but I've been having issues with my elbow. I have like tennis elbow from all the crocheting that I've been doing, and part of that is because I am a pencil hold, not a knife hold crocheter, and so there's a lot more movement in your hand when you are a pencil hold crocheter. So I've been having a lot of pain in my elbow, and so I was like, well, you kind of have to knife hold when you Tunisian crochet, and I wanted to learn how to do it anyway, so I was like, well, I'll give this a try, see if it's easier on my elbow. I have no pain at all when I Tunisian crochet. It's amazing. And so for me, at least right now, that's kind of what I'm leaning on with my crochet because it's something that I can do pain-free. Which I can't say that I can do with regular crochet at the moment. It doesn't mean that it's going to be that way forever. It's just how it is for a little bit. So I'm knocking out things with my knitting machine and doing some Tunisian crochet, which is really fun. And this is the last thing that I'm doing Tunisian crochet style. It's another C2C simple stitch scarf, but I had this yarn. This is Lana Bella from Ice Yarn. I will put the link in the description for this as well. It's stunning and I love it, and I've always loved it. And the gradient fade on it is gorgeous. And this was something that I knocked out on my knitting machine, but I just didn't like the width of it. It felt too skinny to me for a scarf. Even if you double it up and do like one of these, it didn't like it. I love the way that it looks knit. I just didn't like the width of it, and I'm limited to the number of needles on my panel. So I wanted a nice, thick, cozy scarf, and this is a DK weight, by the way. Lana Bella is a wool acrylic blend. It is a 3 DK weight, if you were curious, and it's super soft. It's a single ply construction. It's got some fuzz, but not bad. It has more fuzz than normal because I'm recycling it from this. So it wouldn't be as fuzzy as this when you first work it up, but because it's already been worked into something, it's gonna have a little bit more fuzz because I'm pulling stitches out and reworking it. But this is how this one is turning out. And I absolutely love it. It's a nice wide scarf, but because it's that DK weight, again, it's not overly bulky. This is something that you can easily wear most of the year, except for those super hot summer days. And the colors, this just looks like, this colorway to me just screams watermelon. Am I the only one who thinks that? I mean, look at that. We got the reds and the pinks and the greens and the kind of grayish blues, and it's just so beautiful. I just love it. I love it so much. You can get a close up on that simple stitch there. I just love it. I love it so much. This has been my favorite project to work on. And it's recycling wonderfully into a new project, which makes me really, really happy. I might need to buy more because I think this is all that I have. And I don't think that what is left on here is going to get me to the length that I want with this. Bummer, I have to buy more yarn, right? And Ice Yarn at that. Oh my goodness. They have stuff at Ice Yarn right now that I want so badly, but I am restraining myself. I'm only allowed to buy yarn that I need and that I have a specific purpose for. So if I do put it in Ice Yarn order, it's just going to be for a single pack of that Lana Bella. So I can finish the scarf, but you should check it out. They got some stunning rainbow colors in Lana Bella. Stunning rainbow colors in Lana Bella. It's beautiful. And if the shipping scares you off, just remember, calculate shipping by looking at the total number of skeins in your cart, not packs, because the Lana Bella comes 4 in a pack. So you'd have 4 skeins of yarn, and then take that and divide it by your total after shipping. So take your total after shipping, divide by 4 if you're only getting 1 pack, and that tells you how much you're spending per skein of yarn. And it actually breaks down to be quite affordable. I've put together even some relatively small orders, especially compared to, you know, like Krista at Secret Yarnery. Another shout out, love you, Krista. Fangirl you for life. I love you. She does these massive, massive orders, and that's cool. That'll save you on shipping overall, but I can afford to do that. So I've gotten orders where I've only had like maybe 2, maybe 3 packs of yarn in my cart. And even then, which is kind of like worst case scenario for shipping, I still don't think I've ever paid more than $4 a skein of yarn. And even then, it was still, I'm pretty sure, less than $4. I don't think it's ever gone over $4 per skein, which, I mean, the fiber contents that I get, you know, they have really high quality acrylics. They have, you know, all kinds of wonderful mohair, hand-dyed cashmere. Like, those are like some of the higher end luxury yarns, but they have lots of alpaca, they have lots of wool blends, they have lots of really nice stuff. And don't let the shipping scare you. Just look at your total after shipping, divide by the number of skeins in your cart, and that will tell you what you're paying. Because honestly, you can't get a beautiful gradient fade with no breaks in a wool acrylic blend like this anywhere that I've seen in a store for, you know, $3.50 a skein. Like, single ply construction. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So ice yarn has its pros and cons. All yarn companies do. I will always be a fan of it just simply because I've really liked the quality of the yarns that I've gotten. There's some that are better than others. There's been a couple of stinkers that I've gotten. But I will never recommend a yarn to you that I'm not in love with from Ice Yarn. And Lana Bella, it's one of my all-time faves. One of my all-time faves. I really, really, really like it. So, anyways, I have talked way long enough. I will let you guys go. There's been a lot of yarn happenings going on over here. Oh, and I haven't even showed you the last one. Hold on, I got one more. So if you watched my yarn and chat with me, I was working on a baby blanket and a rectangle granny. This is my progress with that. So there's my last one. I've taken a bit of a pause from it because this was the one that was making my elbow in a lot of pain because I was trying to knock this out as fast as possible. I still have a little ways to go. I'm in like halfway through skein yarn. I think I'm going to finish that skein and see if I want to do one more. But I'm getting pretty close to the size that I want for a baby blanket, so I'm not sure if I'm going to go through another skein of this color because I am going to put a white border around it. And I like to do big frilly borders, so it's not going to be like a dinky border. Anyways, so much, you guys. And hey, I wanted to also say really quick, if you're an international subscriber that likes to watch my videos, that's amazing. If English is not your first language and you do not feel comfortable commenting in English, that's fine. Go ahead and comment in whatever your heart language is, but just put what your language is in your comment. Like if you speak only Spanish, say this, like just say, put Spanish at the end of the comment, or Italian or German or whatever the language is. Because I've had a lot of people who are commenting in other languages, and I can know what you're saying if I put it through Google Translate, but I've had 1 or 2 times where I haven't been able to identify the language, and so I haven't been able to read those comments. So I will always try to comment back to international subscribers whose heart language is not English. I will put it through Google Translate and try to respond to you as well, because the yarn community is global and for everyone. And if you're watching my videos, I want you to stick around. I'm so glad you're here. And just because we have a language barrier, thanks to modern technology, does not mean that we have to have that limit us. So just let me know what language you're speaking, because I'm pretty good at spotting languages, but sometimes I can't figure it out. So let me know what it is and I'll put it through Google Translate and we'll be able to chat, which is awesome. Watch out for spammers. They were hitting my videos. Always report that for me. What else? I think that's it for now, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching and seeing all my fun yarn projects. And I hope that you are having a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.